Right, welcome to the EcoBiz show where you can get ideas to grow your business and make it greener. And today I'm very excited to be joined by Jo Brianti from JLB Business Consulting. And we're talking about data protection. So GDPR, security, processes. I think this is going to be fantastic. We all need to know about it as small business owners. So welcome, Jo. Great to have you on the show.
Hi, lovely to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Karen.
Oh, pleasure. So Jo is a business consultant with 30 years experience in a range of industry and now focuses on data protection, security and processes. And I know she knows her stuff because I've spoken to Jo on occasions before. So what do we need to think about when it comes to GDPR and compliance?
First things first is to make sure that you know what data you're collecting, where you're collecting it from, who you're collecting it from, and why you're collecting it. And look at the data that you're currently collecting. Are you using it all? Do you need to really know all of those things about your client or about what they do? I mean, as an example, I've had a conversation this morning with somebody who said, well, we're collecting telephone numbers, but we don't really know why. And I said, well, stop collecting them. Just there's no need. If you're not using it, if it's not relevant to the business, it's not helping you to do what your business does, don't do it. So minimize your data, understand what data you're collecting, operate in a secure way. So here we're thinking about just some very basic things and fundamental things. Multi-factor authentication. Yes, it can be a bit annoying to have to sort of rush around and find your phone and get that number to put it on, you know, when the little widget box comes up. But it does protect you because it is just that secondary level of defense. Then when you've done that, think about your passwords. I read a really interesting article the other day about passwords, and there was a list of the 10 most commonly used passwords. Football team names, literally nothing. Just for example, one of them was Tottenham. No numbers, just Tottenham. Another one that was there was Liverpool. No capitals, no nothing, just there were. So think about what you're doing with your password. And there's two approaches, right? You can either use something like LastPass, which will store your passwords securely, but also it will generate complex passwords that have a mix of lowercase, uppercase, special characters, and numbers. But alternatively, if you don't have that facility, think about using 3 random words. So for instance, you could use cat, house, Karen. 3 totally unrelated words, mixture of lower and uppercase. You could use little phrases, the sly brown fox. I don't suggest you use one that's commonly known, but again, just change the odd 0 to a 0. And those kinds of things. So make really strong passwords. Your multi-factor. Never share your passwords. Now, when I say that, I know that we're all using remote teams. We might be using VAs, bookkeepers. What you need to do is you need a secure way of sharing. So again, LastPass and the other tools out there like Dashlane, 1Password, they will allow you to share access to a system, but without giving away the password. So you always retain control of your system. Next thing, when we're talking about using remote workers, have you vetted them? Have they got insurance? Do you know where they're based? So, for example, if you're using a VA or a bookkeeper that is not UK based, there is a transfer of personal data. Not a problem, so long as you're managing it correctly and you've done the appropriate checks to make sure that your subcontractor is operating securely. Are they using sole operation laptops? Are they sharing those laptops with children, husband, other members of the family? What's the security in terms of how they're operating, where they're operating, and all of these other questions. Are they insured? Do they have antivirus on their laptop? Just some very basic fundamental questions that you need to do before you commit to working with an outsourced person. Then thinking about your own setup. Now, this is really annoying if you're a Windows person. The updates. You switch the laptop on and you're sitting there and you've got that meeting to go to and it's just going round and round. Update, update, update. It's annoying, but do it because there is a reason for them. They're there to protect your system. They're patching faults. And what you can do is you can schedule them. So my updates run at 6 o'clock on a Friday evening. So I leave the laptop switched on and they automatically can download, upload, install, restart, upstart, all that sort of stuff. And I don't get interrupted. My day doesn't get interrupted. So there's those things. When it comes to things like malware protection, antivirus, always make sure you're using a really good quality one. And I also recommend that you use a paid one. It might be a few quid a month, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than a fine if you have a problem with your data. Because you just never know when you're going to get a virus that's going to turn up in an email, or you're going to pick it up from anywhere, or malware, or, you know, at the really extreme end that somebody does get unauthorized access to your systems. It happens, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, and in terms of all of this, I mean, people, you say, you know, people have to really do all this, and you know, and a lot of this then will streamline your processes and help your business. I mean, how do you find, you know, ways that it does help businesses when they start doing all of this?
Well, one of the things that I look at is I always start with a data audit to understand, and as part of that data audit, we map the process flows. So we look at things like from the website right the way through to the end of the data life cycle. So what's the collection? How do we access it? How do we get it from the collection pointed to the next pieces of software? So we look at how we can do automation. I look at whether the systems they're using can be tweaked, streamlined. You know, are there ways of using the tool that help us to secure and manage the data? I look at questions like, do you actually need to print? You know, really, do you need to print? And okay, if you've got all that old printed material, can it be scanned and stored electronically?
And then shredded?
And then, well, you see, the thing is, before shredding, I always use the back of the paper.
I do as well. Me as well.
As a scratch pad.
Once it's finished, shred it, and then you can actually compost that or use it to light fires or whatever you need to. Yeah.
But the caveat with saying that is that you've got to be careful about what it is, because you know, for myself, I work alone in the office. It doesn't matter, right? Whatever's on that paper, it's secure in my office. If you're in a shared office, it may not be possible, because there might be personal data in there that, you know, if it was left on your desk, even if you're using the back of the page, that might go astray and might become accessible to people who really shouldn't see that or don't need to see that. So in a bigger business or in a wider context, or if you're working out of a co-working hub, then you've got to be a little bit more careful about how you use these things. But, you know, stopping printing is a great way of minimizing the opportunities for data to get lost, shared, accessed inadvertently. But also it's great for the environment, because we can all do with less printing. So I look at ways that we can put documents online that are shared and accessible, so people can read them, and you know, different access rights, whether it's read, write, that kind of stuff. So there's all those ways that you can look at how you streamline the way you work to protect the data, to make you more efficient, and also to protect everything in your business and your clients.
Brilliant. Fantastic. That's a really, really good overview. And we have come to the end of the time, but I just wanted to ask you, what is your top eco tip?
My top eco tip: don't print. The amount of paper that you just can waste in your business, printing, viewing. It took quite a while for me to get into the habit of reviewing on screen. But do it. It once you get there, it will save you money, time, and it's so much better for the environment because you're not knocking down trees to make more paper.
Absolutely. Yay. Love it. Fantastic. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me on the show, Jo. It's such a pleasure to have you. I know there's so much more that you can tell us. Maybe I'll get you back one day and we'll talk more about sort of systems and more systems and processes and that as well. I know you're kind of the tool queen when it comes to automation and stuff. So maybe a good one on automation would be good. And I think that'll be really useful to our audience. So you can find Jo at jlbbusinessconsulting.co.uk. You're also on LinkedIn. You're active on there. So if you just search for Jo Brianti. To our viewers, if you're watching live or you're catching up on the replay, please do like, subscribe, share, leave any comments below as well, and we'll get back to you and answer those questions. And thank you so much once again, and we'll see you same time next week. Take care.